Math Gad, guys. Welcome to today's video in which we're going to be learning a lot. But before we begin with the video, guys, it's very important to me that you guys hit that subscribe button to help the channel grow. Hit that like button if you find this video useful, and don't forget to share with your friends. So let's begin.
Oh my God.
Welcome back, guys. So today's video is basically two problems about finding ratios, rates, and unit rates. So let's begin. So in this type of problems, guys, you're usually told a given rate, for example, 450 pages divided by 5 hours, and then you're maybe asked how much pages someone is going to read in an hour. So if you have this rate and you have to convert it to the other rate, you usually just divide by the numerator or denominator. It really depends. So in this case, since we have 5 hours and we want to know the amount in 1 hour, we are going to divide by 5. But you have to remember that because this is a relationship, if we divide the numerator by 5, we're also going to divide the numerator by 5. So if we divide the denominator, we also divide the numerator, and vice versa. If we divide the numerator, we're also going to divide the denominator. So in this case, we also divide by 5 the numerator, meaning that the answer here is going to be 450 divided by 5, meaning that this person reads 90 pages in 1 hour. So we're going to use that same logic for these following two problems. Problem number 1. Okay guys, so problem number 1 is basically Kiani can make 8 spring rolls in 10 minutes. Gabo, on the other hand, can make 10 spring rolls in 12 minutes. If they each make 40 spring rolls, who will finish first? Okay guys, so in this case, in this problem we have here, we have Kiani who makes 8 spring rolls, which I'm going to call SR for short, in 10 minutes. And we also have Gabo, who makes 10 spring rolls in 12 minutes. Okay, so in this case, we're given two relationships. So Kiani's and Gabo's. Time is usually going to be in the denominator, because our denominator is going to tell us time usually, since time is almost always going to be our independent variable. So keep that in mind. In this case, they're asking us how much time they make 40 spring rolls, right? Or who will finish first. We have actually two ways in which we can know who finishes first. The first way in which we can solve this problem is that we have 8 spring rolls in 10 minutes by Kiani, and we can find how much spring rolls Kiani can do in 1 minute. So in order to transform from 10 minutes to 1 minute, we are going to divide by 10. And whenever we divide the numerator by 10, we're also going to divide our numerator. So if we divide 8 by 10, it's going to be 0,8 spring rolls. After that, we know for sure that the same thing is going to go with Gabo. So in order to find how many spring rolls Gabo makes in 1 minute, we divide by 12, which in this case is the denominator. And we do that same thing with the numerator. We divide by 12. So 10 divided by 12 is going to be 5 divided by 6, or 0,83 spring rolls. By this, we know that 0.8 is higher than 0.83, meaning that Gabo makes spring rolls faster, because the numerator is higher for the same denominator. So Kiani makes 0.8 spring rolls in 1 minute, and Gabo makes 0.83 spring rolls in 1 minute. So since Gabo is faster, that answers our question. He will be the one who finishes first. But what about another way in which we can do this problem? Well, we start from the same base. So Kiani makes 8 spring rolls in 10 minutes. And Gabo makes 10 spring rolls in 12 minutes. So another thing that we can do is that since we're being asked for 40 spring rolls, we're first going to find how much each of these guys takes to make one spring roll. So in this case, we divide by 8. But since we divide by 8 the numerator, we're also going to divide by 8 the denominator. So 8 divided by 8 is 1 spring roll that Kenny makes in 10 divided by 8, which is going to be 1.25 minutes. So Kiani makes 1 spring roll in 1.25 minutes. What about Gabo? Well, in this case, if we want to get 1 spring roll, we have to divide by 10. And we, again, have to do the same thing for the denominator. So when we divide by 10, as we did in the numerator, is going to be 1, 2. So Gabo makes 1 spring roll in 1.2 minutes. So a smaller amount of time than Kiani. So that means that Gabo is still faster, so we have the same answer. Gabo is the one who does it. But let's say you wanted to know how much time each one spends making that 40 spring rolls. We would then have to multiply by 40. Why? Because when we multiply 1 times 40, we're going to get 40 spring rolls. But again, if we do that with the numerator, we have to do that as well with the denominator. So again, we multiply 1.25 times 40, and that's going to give you that Kiani makes 40 spring rolls in 50 minutes. What about Gabo? If we multiply by 40 in order to get the 40 spring rolls that Gabo does, and we also multiply the denominator, it's going to give you that Gabo makes this 40 spring rolls in 48 minutes. And that is going to be your answer. So as you can see, Gabo takes just 48 minutes to make the 40 spring rolls, while Kiani takes 50 minutes, meaning Gabo is way faster. Let's continue with the next problem. So the next problem says, Nerea reads 150 pages of her summer reading book in 6 hours. Matt reads 120 pages of his summer reading book in 5 hours. How long does it take for each of them to read a book of 500 pages? So that's going to be the key for the problem. They are asking us how long each one of them takes to read 500 pages. So we have Nerea and we have Matt too. So Nerea reads 150 pages in 6 hours, while Matt reads 120 pages in just 5 hours. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is that we have to find how long they spent reading 500 pages. So again, we have two approaches for this problem. Let's try the first one. So the first approach, you would actually have to find how much time do they spend reading for just one page. So we would have to find one page and the amount of hours. So in the case of Nerea, we would have to divide by 150, both the numerator and the denominator. And in the case of Math, we would have to divide by 120. Because again, we want to find how much time they spend reading just one page. And every single time we divide the numerator and the denominator, we have to divide by the same number. So in the first one, when we divide 150 divided by itself, it's going to be 1, and 6 divided by 150 is going to be 0.04. In the second one, 120 divided by itself, it's going to be 1, and 5 divided by 120 is going to be 0.014. 416. Again, we want to know how long they take for 500 pages. So that means that we have to multiply the amount of pages, which is 1, by 500 in order to find the 500 pages mark. But you cannot forget that once you divide the numerator, you also have to multiply the denominator as well. So if you multiply or divide, you have to multiply them both, the numerator and the denominator. So in the case of 0.04 hours times 500 is going to be 20 hours. And 0.416 hours times 500 is going to give you the answer of 20.8 hours. So now you know that Nerea just takes 20 hours, while Matt takes 20.8 hours. Sorry, Matt. So in the second approach, we'll do the opposite. We will now find how many pages does each read in 1 hour. So now we're setting the denominator to be 2 instead of the numerator. Right? So in this case, we have 120, and since we want it to be 1 hour, we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 5. And in Nerea's case, we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 6. That way, we're guaranteeing that we just get 1 hour. So 150, we're going to divide that number by 6, and that's going to be 25 pages. And 120 divided by 5 is going to be 24 pages. So that means Nerea reads 1 page more per hour. Now, we want to reach the 500 page mark for both of them in order to find how many hours they spent. So what do we have to do to 25 for it to become 500? We have to multiply it by 20. So because of that, we multiply 25 times 20, and that's going to give you 500. And then 1 times 20 is going to give us 20. So Nerea spends 20 hours reading the 500 page. And then what do we have to do to 24 for it to become 500? We have to multiply by a number. What number it is? We divide 500 by 24, and that's going to give you 20,83. So you multiply both by that same number, and that's going to give you 20,8 or 20,83 hours, meaning that Matt spends 20,8 hours while Nerea just spends 20 hours. And that is it, guys. So in this problem, we basically saw how you can actually get the same answer using both methods. So in today's video, guys, we found out ratios, rates, and unit rates, remembering that the key is practicing, and also remembering that when you multiply the numerator by a number, you also have to multiply the denominator. The same thing goes if you divide the numerator or the denominator. You have to multiply or divide them both to reach the number you want to see. And that's it, guys. See you on the next one. Bye.
Check out these other videos to improve your math skills, and make sure you click that subscribe button to make the community grow. Follow OHMATHGAD in its social media accounts, drop a like, a comment below, and see you on the next one. Bye!